What the fuck is up, people of the internet? Today I am bringing you the Out of the Dark series, which is where I find some cool idea or interesting thought or philosophy or anything, and I bring it to you guys. So today I wanted to talk about the financial collapse, because I feel like that's really, really important to talk about. You know, 30 million people across the world lost their jobs. We had people that were essentially living in tent cities. I don't know if you know what that is. It's where all of these people lost their jobs from the 2008 financial collapse, and they had to basically pitch up tents and fend for themselves. It wasn't a result of them being lazy. It wasn't a result of them manipulating the system. In fact, it really is the other way around. These financial fucks manipulated the system. But they're, you know, homeless. So I thought it was really important to try and get to the bottom of it. And the more I've researched, and I've done research throughout the years, and I watched a really interesting documentary just earlier, which really swayed me. But when I finished my research, I was more confused than I was satisfied. So let's take Iceland, which is in the documentary. It's called Inside Job. You guys should really check it out. It's fascinating as fuck. But anyway, let's take Iceland, for example. Iceland was a country that was heavily regulated. Their banking system was regulated by the government to an extraordinary degree. They had a very happy, healthy society. Then, from 2000 until 2008, they went on this crazy deregulation spree. Think about a parent who's always watching over you, then says, all right, you know what, we're out. We're going to leave the house for a few days. You're good on your own. Here's a jar of cookies. Don't eat the cookies, but here's the jar of cookies. And that's what happened. The parents left the room, and the banks went on a massive spree. Crazy, you know, they just fucked over everybody. It was a minor example of what happened in 2008 in our country. So, another way to look at it is think about a boat in the water. Like, a boat that has a lot of oil in it. Like, what are they called? Like, oil rig? Not oil rigs, but just, you know, an oil tanker. In order for that ship to stay afloat, there has to be placeholders in the ship. There has to be weights, and the weight has to be distributed evenly, or else all of the oil will roll to one side and the ship will tip over. Okay? So, in order for the ship to stay afloat, there has to be regulations, quote-unquote, in place. The same thing with economics. If you don't have regulations, everything is going to go fucking crazy. And I guess that is the way it happened in our country. I know some of you guys may be experts in this field. I personally am not. I'm a dude who looked this shit up on the internet. Alright, this is what I've gleaned from my research. So, let me get a little complex here for a minute, break down the system, and then I'll keep simplifying it down until we can maybe potentially come to a solution. Tell me what you guys think at the end of the video, though. Anyway, in our country, the good old US of A, these people had wanted to buy houses, right, who couldn't afford them. So think of a poor person who can't afford a house. He goes to a mortgage broker or a dude who lends him money, and he says, hey, I want to buy a house. And this guy says, okay, well, even though you can't afford it, I'm still going to give it to you. And you're going to pay crazy interest rates. That way we can, you know, get our fix. And that way, you know, it's safe for us and safe for you. Well, the people say, okay, so you have a bunch of poor people who are living in really fancy homes, which they really truthfully can't afford. They can't afford to pay these really outrageous loans back, but, you know, they're living there short term. Anyway, these mortgage brokers, they are legally allowed to actually sell the loan. I'm serious. They sell the loan to an investment bank. And this is where it gets weird. The investment bank then takes the loan, and they're allowed to bet on the loan itself. So it's like if I was to buy the loan from your house and then place a bet on it, and I could say, well, you know, I don't think you're going to be able to pay this, so I'm going to bet against you. So essentially, the people that control your loan are betting against you because they know that you can't pay for it. And then there's one other factor. It goes from the investment banks to someone else. I completely forget who it is, though. It's like it's either lenders or someone else. Anyway, I'm seriously, I'm not that well versed. This is a very basic conclusion that I came to after watching this. Finances bore the fuck out of me, but I still try. I tried my best, man. I tried my best. So, on top of all of this, you may be saying, okay, well, that's a lot of fuckery afoot. where are the regulatory bodies? Well, there's a rating agency, and they rate the status of the loans. They rate the status of the investments or whatever the fuck. And the most fucked up part about this is that the rating agency actually gets paid a bonus if they rate in favor of the loan. So if they give it like a AAA rating or some shit. And you basically have this whole system that is completely fucked up. And on top of that, to my knowledge, it really hasn't been fixed from 2008. There's still tons of deregulation. Obama tried to pass a bill, but it was just completely full of shit because the people that he hired to figure out the problem were what really caused the solution. Anyway, let's try and simplify this down a little bit more. So, in case you guys don't understand, you basically have people who take loans from, you know, mortgage brokers or whoever, predatory loaning essentially. You have these people who take loans that really cannot pay them, and then those loans are betted on by investment banks. So your livelihood is being betted on by these rich fucking financial fucks. And on top of that, they're not operating in your best interest. They gave you a false bill of goods. They said, hey, you know what, buddy? I get it. You want to live in a nice home? I got you. Here's your nice home. Oh, by the way, we're going to tax you a little bit harder, but it's okay. You enjoy that home. You know what? You may not be able to pay for this in reality, but you live here for now. And you know what? We're going to just suck the money right out of you. And then when we're done, we're going to say, oops, our bad. Oops. And you know what? Because of that fact, no one from the financial sector went to jail. I think there's like 1 or 2 people that went to jail. You know, supposedly we were going to have tons of regulation. Supposedly Obama was going to fix it, but he didn't. Because the people that I've already said this, the people that work for Obama that head up his like financial division or economic division, they were part of the people they're part of the reason why we had the problem in the first place. So expecting them to come up with a solution is fucking retarded. You can't fix a problem with the same type of thinking that created it in the first place. You have to have a different mode of thinking. In that case, you probably need new people. So it's this crazy fucked up system, and none of these people went to jail. So all of these people are still running around Wall Street, man. These people are still in power. They're still doing their thing, you know, living it up, living the good life, sucking hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, I remember Obama saying, well, you know, I think we have to cap the bonuses at $500,000 for CEOs. You know, it's the most we can do. Sorry, it's just, you know, it just is what. $500,000? Are you fucking kidding me? Bitch, you should not be getting a bonus. Have you seen, like, parts of our country, like Detroit or Camden, New Jersey? They are prime examples of social decay. And then you have these rich fucks who are making $500,000 bonuses, and they're saying, sorry, that's the least we can give you. And it has to stay there. We can't give you any more. It's sorry. Too much. Oh, my God, man. Cry me a fucking river, would you? These people, you know, I read this really interesting statistic, and it could be complete bullshit. But it was, if, you know, I think, like, out of the 1% of our population, there's, like, 400 people who are, like, the high rollers, and if they all died tomorrow, then, essentially, the financial institution would collapse on itself. Like, our stock market would crash and all that stuff. And you know, it's so silly. I don't think it's anyone's fault. I don't think that, you know, these people are evil. I think that it's just an example of a system kind of gone out of control. And that's it. I think they're probably nice people at heart. I think they have good intentions. It was just there's so many pieces of the puzzle that were moving around at the same time. Everything got out of hand. I don't think it's an example of good versus evil, the poor against the rich. I think it's just a bunch of fucking moving pieces that people could not account for. I think that's it. But that doesn't mean it's okay. It really does not mean it's okay at all. Now, you would say, okay, well, you know, our generation is fixing this problem. You know, we'll be able to, you know, the kids who are in economics right now, they'll be able to fix it, and, you know, everything's going to be okay. Well, no, that's wrong. Because the kids in, you know, economics class right now, especially from Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, they're actually being taught by professors who worked at Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Lehman Brothers. And they also consult for these gigantic banks as well, and they're very huge proponents of deregulation. In other words, hey, you know, government, stay the fuck off our back. We don't want it. We don't want any type of regulation. They lobby the shit out of that in Congress. They say, look, just let us do our thing. We're sorry we messed up. It won't happen again. Yeah, bullshit, son. It probably will. Anyway. I don't know what to think about this. The only conclusion I've come to is that there is a huge fucking elephant in the room, and it's a problem. And I don't know how to fix it. I'm not saying there needs to be some violent revolution or anything like that. I think there is definitely a peaceful way to go about doing things. I think there's a peaceful way to come to a solution. But holy fuck, man, you know, you feel so powerless because it's like, what can I do? I'm just a dude, an average dude in the suburbs. You know, I can't do anything. You know, I have to elect some representative who has to deal with lobbyists that are circling around him every day when he's in Congress. I don't know. I don't fucking know. If you guys think that you've come up with a solution, like a peaceful solution, I don't want to see any of that, like, oh, fuck the government, woo, I'm going to overthrow. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to see it. Let's try and see if we can... I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions, and let's see if we can come up with something, because I'm fucking lost. I'm lost. I'm like a lost puppy in the woods right now, man. So, I hope you enjoyed this discussion. You know, I did my best. I'm so clueless when it comes to finances. I hope you guys watch the documentary and do some research on your own. If anything, I hope this stimulates you to do a lot of homework and research on the subject, because I can't. I'm clueless. Anyway, that does it for me, guys. I love all of you. I hope you have an awesome fucking day, and as always, take it easy, my brothers from other mothers.